Let's talk about some of the individual movers or individual stocks that's catching investors' attention. We got to start off with JPMorgan. You're looking at losses of just over 1% for shares this morning. The big headline out, CEO Jamie Dimon is set to sell 1 million of his shares starting in the new year. Now, this is according to a SEC filing. They're doing it for diversification and also for tax planning purposes. Now, Dimon holds on 8.6 million shares of the bank, so selling 1 million. The significance of this, though, is it's the first stock sale that we've seen from Dimon during his tenure at the company. And Diane, we know that he's been there for almost 20 years, since 2006. We talk about the fact that he has been there throughout the financial crisis. We know that he's a big believer in his company, is why he holds such a significant stake in JPMorgan and also the previous banks that he has led in the past. So significance of this, I think investors are asking about what this signals just in terms of any weakness maybe inside JPMorgan, or maybe what it means for his plan going forward. But they did reiterate in this SEC filing that Dimon continues to believe the company's prospects are very strong.
Yeah, to me, this brings up the question of just succession planning, because you think about earlier this week, we heard news from Morgan Stanley. That was a prior CEO who had been there a long time, similar to Jamie Dimon. When you know his story, how he came from Citi, then to Bank One, to ultimately leading the nation's biggest bank, right? And, you know, to your point, you said the family holds more than 8.5 million shares. So to be fair, this is a little over, less than 15% of the shares that they hold, right? So it's not a huge deal in terms of a percentage basis. Yes, the number sounds big, but then just to go back to the confidence question, because we think back to the financial crisis, as you mentioned, Dimon bought 500,000 shares in 2009. So that showing confidence. Now, we don't know if this is a confidence question. He says it's not, clearly. But you do wonder, it begs the question about what his plans are for the future in terms of his role at JPMorgan Chase. Who is being groomed for that spot? Who will take over from him, who's been such a strong leader and created such a huge bank and an institution in JPMorgan Chase?
Yeah, we know there has been some talk of potential successors of who could potentially succeed Jamie Dimon, Marion Lake being one of those, as CEO of the consumer lending division right now. So there is lots of talk just about what JPMorgan could potentially look like after Dimon, but I don't think you can read maybe too much into this, at least for now, given the fact that this release did, of course, reiterate the fact that Dimon has tremendous confidence in the bank at this point.